There's a moo cow. Give it another few days and there's going to be some pretty colors in those trees. Hey, what's up everybody? John here, Delighted Acres Farm. And today I have a couple of projects that I'm going to work on, and yeah, it is, gosh, what is today? It's like the 8th of November. It's a Saturday. I mean, because that's when I film most of my videos. But so it's Saturday the 8th of November. It is a beautiful morning. It was a little crisp this morning, but it is, I think currently it's in the low 50s. I don't know, but there is very little breeze whatsoever, and so it's a great time to be out here. It's only going to be 70 something today. Overnight tonight it is going to be, I think, in the mid to upper 30s, and then tomorrow Sunday it's supposed to be like in the high temperature in the 50s, maybe in the upper 40s. And so we just have a cold front coming, which means tomorrow night, Sunday night into Monday morning, we actually have low temperatures that are going to be hard freeze. And so there's a couple things I want to get done today because it's so nice that I don't want to have to mess with tomorrow, because I think as it's going to be cold and the wind's going to be blowing. So I'm going to take care of our what am I working on? Garden hoses. I'm going to take care of our garden hoses. I'm going to drain those. I'm not going to put them away because like after Monday, it's supposed to warm back up and our temperatures are supposed to be in the mid 60s up into the 70s over the next 7 to 10 days or so. So I don't know when we're going to start having regular freezing temperatures, but I don't want the garden hoses sitting with water in them when it freezes. And so I think they probably would be fine, but I'm not going to take that chance. So I have the time, I might as well do it. So anyway, that's one thing I'm going to work on. I'm going to take care of the garden hoses. And before I take care of the garden hoses, I have something I need to do. I got to get Bear's crate. The crate we leave him in whenever we leave the house. I haven't washed it down in a while, and so I just need to take care of that, let that sit out in the sunshine and dry, and then I'll start taking care of the hoses, and who knows what else. I have a couple other things that I might get into, but they're like super small but necessary things, and so if I get into those, then I'll show you what's going on. But anyway, guys, I hope that your November has started well. I'm happy with the weather that we've had. It hasn't gotten like super cold, and temperatures have been mild and all the stuff. And so, y'all, it feels like fall, and I appreciate that. I like fall. Fall is my favorite. So I'm out here. I got my hoodie on. I also got my shorts on because that's the way it's supposed to work. Let's see if I can do this without letting Bear out the door. All right, we got him back. What's up, buddy? Go. Bear back. Bear. Up. Go inside. Thank you. Bear's freaking out. He wants to come out here because it's exciting. All right, get this down off the porch. All right, so hopefully I can keep. Got a really bright spot over here, but I want to focus there, so we'll see. Hopefully it does. I gotta get the hose ready. What we're gonna do is take this apart. You gotta open it up, take the tray out. What happens is, I don't know if y'all can tell, that is a ton of dog hair, and we cleaned it out occasionally. We do our best, but sometimes we just don't have the time to really take care of it. So ooh-wee, that's nasty. All right, well, got my brush. A little water on there. It's already wet, but here's what I can do here. Ooh. Now I'm just going to hose the rest of this down, rinse it off real good, and go ahead and get to my next project after. So, now there are some places on here that are pretty rusty. We've had this cage, and it's a Pro Select professional cage. We had one of those heavy-duty plastic pet crates that we got whenever we first got him, and it was good. Like I said, it was plastic, heavy-duty, but eventually he was able to chew and chew and chew and get to it, or get through the plastic to where he was able to break out of it. He chewed on it and broke it so much that the door came open on the latch side, not on the hinge side. No, it came open on the hinge side. So the latch was still latched, but he broke the hinges. So anyway, we wound up getting him this. We ordered this. The other was from Atwoods, and it was about 80 bucks. Thought, well, that's pretty good. Nope. The way he broke out of it, we knew we had to find something different. So this is nice and heavy duty. Those rods, those bars go all the way through, whatnot. So it's well made. But latches here, there's two of these, and it's got holes in here where you can put wire or something through. We don't do that just because we don't really have anything that's convenient to do that with. But if you notice how shiny and silver that is, that's supposed to look like this. It's supposed to have that same texture. So over time, very shortly after we got it, Bear is so smart that he will lick and lick and lick all over this, and he will get that tripped. And he will do that for both top and the bottom. So we wound up having to get this chain, and we'll put that chain around here, and that way if he gets these open, it only will open, so far, and he can't get out. So he doesn't do as much trying to get out of it as he used to. But there's lots of places on there where it's rusty because of his licking, because of his saliva, and because of the water that he spills. Like I said, with the old crate, we still have it. I fixed it, but we used it for a like a separation pen for one of our hens 2 years ago, because she needed to not be with the other girls for a while, and so we were able to use that because we had already gotten this. But with this one, Bear can't get out if that chain is on there. And so, like I said, there's ways of securing each of those little latches, but this, using a chain like I showed you, that's the easiest for us. And so that's what we do. We actually bought 2 of these, one for here and one for Kelly's parents' house. So whenever we go out there to visit, all we got to do is take the chain from here, and we take it with us on vacation, so that we have a way to latch the same exact cage. And it was an investment, the cages were, but if you go look those up, they're, I don't know, $200-300 or so, which is well worth the money. We've got our money's worth out of it, and it's still going to last for a really long time, especially the one at Kelly's parents' house, because it's only been used a handful of times, because we're only out there a couple times a year. So anyway, now I've got this finished. I'm going to let it sit in the sun. It's going to dry out throughout the morning, and at some point I'll put it back inside. But now I can take my time and take care of the hoses. And so that's what I'm about to do. I'm going to go ahead and stretch this hose all the way back out and disconnect it from the house, so that when I reel it back up, all the water comes out of it. Like I said, for now I'm going to leave the hose in place in case we need to have it in the next couple of weeks. At some point, like I said, I'm going to just completely take them up. We have a hose out back that we fill up the chicken water with. I may figure out a different solution for that for the wintertime. We have just put a smaller hose on it, so it drains every time, which works fine, because we don't unreel it anyway. And so we'll figure that out. But at some point, we'll probably just put a shorter hose, just so we can fill up and wash the waterer. Yeah, so all right, let's get to it. Take my turn the water off first. Oh, come on. All right, that could have been a mess right there. All right, I'm gonna take that off. Stretch my hose out. Watch out for the dog poop. That'd be gross. All right. I would love to have a hose that doesn't kink. Even the ones that say that they don't kink, they still do. Just a bunch of words. That way they get you to buy it. Now, as far as the hose itself, like, I know that it's, I know that it still gets kinked and stuff, but it's a pretty decent hose when it's not all kinked up. So anyway, there's that. I got that hose taken care of. So now we're gonna go around back. Got a couple out there to take care of. So yeah, so here's one of our busted reels. So we're not using this, so our water spigot hydrant is right there, and we did have a couple of hoses out here, one on that
holder and one on here, but I don't mind these. They're plastic, and you know, the reel works okay, but you see here that busted, and it's busted over here as well, and so that winds up being an issue. And I know everything breaks, but we're gonna figure out something different for over here. The one that I'm about to take care of, I really like it. It's a cart. It's got wheels, and you wind it up on there, and so we'll see. We may replace this one with something like that, but we're not there at the moment. We're not sure what we're gonna do out here, so we still have decisions to make, but I'm gonna go take care of this one real quick. Now, as beautiful as the weather is, and as much as I like the sunshine, at this time of day, it makes it difficult going in and out of the sunshine. So, all right. My intent was to undo the end of it, but I don't have my wrench, and I don't want to go grab a wrench, so just gonna undo the whole thing, and we'll reel it back up. Okay, here we go. Well, I got most of the water out, so I'm gonna call that good. I got ruts in the yard from when I came and did our septic system. And so in the last few weeks, so a few weeks ago, we got out here and we got, I don't know if you remember, if you've been watching, over behind the shop over here, we had our garden spot for a couple of years. Last year, so it would have been 22 and 23. We had our garden over there, and we struggled, really did, with heat, pests like grasshoppers, and then we had blister bugs, but the grasshoppers and the heat were the worst. So last year, 24, we really didn't do much. We had some tubs that we put stuff in, and we just didn't have the time or the want to get out here. I've been struggling with health issues, and I think, well, I'm just about good, and something else comes up, and it's just frustrating. So my goal is always to get healthy. I rarely do the stuff I need to do to make that happen, but this year the garden spot grew up. I don't see anything. I was looking to see if I saw any out in the field or anything, but prickly lettuce, if anybody knows what that is, it's not really lettuce, but when it's growing initially, it looks kind of like a prickly lettuce, and so, but it'll grow 8 to 10 feet tall, and in our garden spot, that's what took over this year. It grew up, and we didn't have the time or the energy to get out there and keep it from growing up, and so we just let it go, and it was probably 6 to 8 feet. The entire garden plot was 6 to 8 feet of the prickly lettuce, and we knew that we were gonna have the guys come out to put septic tank in, and so we delayed having them come out because we really kind of wanted to take care of the garden. And anyway, they came out, they took a look, and they said, don't worry about the garden, because we'll just trench it right through, and you don't have to worry about everything. They would have taken care of it just by driving through it with a backhoe. And so we decided we'll go ahead and get them to come out. Well, a couple weeks ago, it was a Saturday or 2 Saturdays before they were supposed to come put this in, the weather was just perfect. There was really no breeze whatsoever, and we had put down plastic to solarize it a couple years ago, and that got away from us. The plastic tore up in the wind. We had 70-mile-an-hour north winds during the wintertime, and so all that plastic basically tore up. A lot of it blew away, but there were still little bits, and I thought, well, we want to try to get that plastic up out of the ground. And that was a good day whenever the weather was so nice. Got out there, and the prickly lettuce had gotten so dry that I could run it over with the lawnmower and even chop it up with the lawnmower. So that turned out good. And my idea was that then the plastic that comes up with that, I just wound up going in a circle in the garden spot, and I blew all of that plastic into a pile because there was no wind to blow it away. And then we got the garden cart out, hauled stuff out to the burn pit, and so we got most of that plastic taken care of that way, and it worked just like I had hoped. And so anyway, we were able to get that garden spot cleared out before they came to put the septic system in. And so whenever they got here that day to put the septic system in, he's like, "Oh, you got the garden cleaned up. That looks real good." So we're not sure what things are going to look like, because now that they have put the septic system down the edge of the garden spot, we kind of want to come. Let me turn it here. So I don't know how well you can tell, but it's kind of on a downslope. If we come back up here, the old septic line comes out this way, and then it flattens out. So my mom and dad had a garden up here at one point, more on the flat ground. So I don't know what it's going to look like for us if we're going to try, but we are going to try again, whether that is putting plastic down and solarizing the whole thing and killing it, and then putting mulch over the top of it, or if we're going to put down landscape, not the thin stuff, but like the textile fabric, and lay it down. We're not sure. We need to look into it, and then build some raised beds. Well, then if you do raised beds, you get them up higher so you can work on it. But then do we put them all the way to the ground, or do we have them up on legs and elevated? We're not sure. We need to make those decisions, but we feel better about the garden spot because we got it cleaned up. And so now whenever we make the decision, we have more of a clean slate to figure out what we're going to do. So first we got to figure out, I think, what we want to do, and that will help us determine where we're going to do it. So we don't want to come too far up away from our water source, but we can always run a hose, and that would be fine. So anyway, I didn't intend to get into that, but that's the reason we have, because I was talking about ruts in the yard. The reason we have ruts in the yard is because they came out to do the septic system, and the whole reason I got started thinking about the ruts in the yard is because 4 weeks ago, we were out here working, and my knee started bothering me, and it has bothered me since then. And so stepping over these ruts and walking out in the yard, it hurts a little bit. I'm taking some medicine for the pain, but if you've been watching since earlier this year, you know that that's just one of my struggles right now. And I've got the no cartilage. Yes, ma'am. You know too. I don't have any cartilage in my right knee, and so that's why it hurts. But anyway, on to the next thing. I mean, no, it's just the other hose. So, but first, how about a snack, y'all? How about some chicken scratch over here? Okay. I'll start scratching. I'll get you some soldier fly larvae. Here you go. Ready? Don't let it scare you. Okay. They're super skittish. Alright, can you see them? Let's get a little closer here. Yeah, there you go. Enjoy it, girls. Yum, yum, yum. All right. Well, girls, we got stuff to do. We'll talk to you later. Okay, I'm chasing rabbits today. So it's that time of year that we're gonna have to also start thinking about winterizing, which basically just means cutting down on the draft that gets in here. So last year I had pallets stacked up here, or leaned up, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm thinking about going and getting some cheap plywood and just screwing it on all the way around. That'll help, that'll keep the draft, because this is the north side, this is the northwest side, and so a lot of our winter air comes from here. And so if I can get plywood put up here and then on that side, and then do something on top that helps at least part of the draft. I don't know what it's going to look like, because this is going to be our first winter with them being able to get out into the run here. I don't know if you remember, but there should be a white trim piece right here, and something had gotten up here and pried that trim piece off of this door. But in the wintertime, we close that all the way, because there's plenty of ventilation up top and stuff. So I don't know what it's going to look like. But if you got any ideas, and we've put plastic up twice, then you got to mess with that, which is fine. I also thought about getting some hay bales, buying some hay bales, like just cheap old straw bales, and stacking up along here, and maybe putting plywood down on the top, but then that holds, you know, snow, and it'll pool up with water and stuff. I don't want to do that. So we got some decisions we have to make. So like I said, either plywood, which is super simple because it's leaning it up here and screwed on, or hay bales, which I can get straw, just plain old straw hay bales, like $5 a piece. And which, if I got enough hay bales to cover all of that, it would be 1, 2, 45. It would be about a third of the price to buy the hay bales as it would if I were to get plywood. The hay bales are much cheaper, but I don't know what we want to do, so we'll have to figure that out. Alright, I don't need to talk you through this. You know what I'm doing, because I done did it. So we'll take care of this real quick. Nope. That is why I usually have a wrench out here. Well, I'm not going to worry about it. I am going to take that off. Okay. Evidently, I am going to talk you through it. Like I said, I wasn't going to. Golly, that was cold. The water went down my boot. All right. Well, there's that, y'all. Most of y'all know, if you have been paying attention, we've got neighbors that rent our pasture out here. And this is our cow lot. And so they got their feed bunk, and they've got a mineral lick over there. And anyway, this is where they hang out. But the feed shed, they don't use the feed shed, and that's fine. But it is there to use if necessary. So I'm gonna come out here real quick because I noticed something down there. Careful, don't step in the cow poop. I noticed something right here, the bottom of the door, a little, where's that, right there? There's always been, so there has always been critters that try to get in here. And from time to time there have been, I think there's a skunk that was in here, other critters that have gotten in here and nested up, or at least came in and pooped and stuff like that. And so I want to open this up and see if it is, if I see anything in there, any evidence that something has been there recently. So let's see. I'm gonna make you guys go in front of me because it kind of scares me. Well, I don't see anything. I don't see any tracks. So that's fine. Anyway, you guys, I got the hoses taken care of. I got bear's cage all washed out. Like I said, I have a couple other things that I need to do, but I'm about to run out of battery for my camera, and so I'm just gonna go ahead, I'm gonna call it for now. You guys, thanks so much for coming along. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Please like, subscribe if you're not, ring the notification bell, do all the stuff. And y'all, I have now gone like to 872 subs, so that's super exciting. Thank you guys if you're new subscribers. If you're old subscribers, if you've subscribed sometime in the last year, or whenever it may be, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. So you guys have a great rest of your day, whatever day it is you're watching this. I will see you on the next video.